I'm WCIA 3 meteorologist Jacob Dickey coming with you with severe weather coverage now. We've added a few more warnings to the board today, including now a tornado warning for parts of our viewing area. What we'll do now is we'll talk a little bit about this warning, and then we'll go to our digital coverage. It's running up to the edge of our viewing area. It does include some of our counties here, so we'll break in with coverage here to let you know more about what is going on. The area we're watching is this storm here that's now coming out of Bond County. The latest is now a tornado warning for southern Fayette County, and that warning goes up to the Effingham County line. So it's still a ways away, but we want to give you an alert ahead of time about the chance for this tornadic storm to head in that general direction. The warning here does cover areas along and south of Interstate 70, from Vandalia over towards the Effingham Fayette County line on Interstate 70 to the south. It also will include areas to the northern part of what appears to be let me get that county there. Northern part of Marion County. Again, just outside of our area, but we want to let folks know about what's happening here since we've got that alert. Folks in Fayette County, there are some that watch us here, but what we'll do shortly is we'll go to full wall-to-wall coverage on our digital apps. If you don't have our WCIA 3 weather app, it's a great way to stay connected and watch our streaming coverage. We are also on Facebook Live right now and on Twitter and on YouTube. All different ways that you can connect with us here for this one tornado warning, and that's it. A lot of us watching in the clear for tonight, but this is down in the Interstate 70 corridor. We talked yesterday and this morning about how maybe enough would come together for that, and we do have that tornado warning until 8:30 for parts of Fayette County. Let's talk about who's in and who's out and what you need to do. First off, if you're watching us anywhere north of Interstate 70, that'd be from Ramsey, Vandalia northwards, Avena northwards, you're in the clear. This is a southern Fayette County issue, and that's going to include areas along and south of Interstate 70, from Vandalia down towards Kaskaskia, U.S. Highway 51 to the south there, and then some of those more rural communities, Lone Grove here down Illinois 185. That's kind of a bypass from 70 down to 57 and takes you eventually into Farina. Downstream from this, southern Effingham County. We'll keep a watch for you here as this storm is generally heading in your direction. If you're watching in Effingham now, there's no warning for you. The severe thunderstorm warning does include northern Fayette County, though. This storm has had a history of some damage. Some reports have come across the wire in Bond County of trees and power lines down. We also had some damage reported near Lebanon. Check that report again of the damage to some buildings in that area is what it sounds like. And so we have had a history of damage with this particular tornado-warned storm in parts, moving into parts of Fayette County. Let's take a regional view here and show you all of the area. There's a lot of you watching now that are in the clear. That's going to include areas from Springfield, Decatur, Champaign. The cold front has come through. Not an issue for us, but still the front is lining up to the south here, and just enough instability and wind shear coming together to produce this tornadic storm in parts of Fayette County, and it will continue off to the north and east at about 50 miles an hour. Many of us watching in the clear for the night. If you're watching us in parts of Vermilion and Edgar County, there's a couple of rumbles of thunder, some gusty winds with that cell earlier that produced some damage near Taylorville, that is. That, though, moving into West Indiana, no warning on that. Some rain showers with some breezy winds on the backside of this cold front and some rumbles of thunder, but I'm not worried if you're watching us in Taylorville or Sullivan, in Decatur, Monticello, Champaign, even Danville, it points to the north, Ford, Livingston, Iroquois County. We are in the clear in those areas. This primarily looks like the rest of the night will be an Interstate 70 pathway for us. So downstream beyond Effingham County, still maybe have to watch parts of Clark and Jasper counties with this warning, but our only tornado warning we're bringing you right now for a quick update comes from Fayette County here in central Illinois. We'll be continuing to watch this. We'll give it another minute or two and kind of update it. I want to note, first off, the storm itself is still in parts of Bond and Madison County on the other side of Fayette County. But we've probably got some viewers that are down here to the south and west of Effingham towards Altamont, and to the south here, you take Interstate 57 down towards Farina. There's a truck stop there a lot of folks are very popular going to. Those areas may have gotten an alert on their phone. A lot of times the wireless emergency alerts on your cell phones will go off, and that may have sent an alert for some folks there. So that's why we're here covering on TV real quick with an update for you on that. If you get that alert, it's usually a sign where there's a tornado warning in your area. It makes that loud chirping noise, and that may have happened. Some of these cell towers will ping that off in Fayette County, for some of these surrounding areas here. So we've got you on our eyes, and we're watching you in Effingham County and eventually off to the east towards Clark and Jasper as this storm with a history of some damage continues to move off to the east. What we'll do now is I'm going to time this out for you, and then we're going to toss back to our programming here and send you back to CBS's programming with this particular storm as it's moving now into parts of Fayette County. Downstream from this, I think we'll have to watch maybe south of Effingham, more than likely, but it's a close call at this point. Moving at 50 miles an hour, if there's warnings extended to Effingham County, we'll jump right back here on TV. We will continue on our digital platforms, though. This will be coming into Patoka by about 8 o'clock. Kinmundy at 8:15, Farina about 8:20, and then off to the south and east there. Mason by about 8:30, Watson 8:37 or so. That's what we'll continue to watch. Again, our one warning for Fayette County. We're concerned mainly on that Interstate 70 corridor where the risk for severe weather remains ever so subtly into the area for the next hour or two. Other than that, we will mention the severe thunderstorm watch that's been out for some of our areas has been trimmed back for a few spots. Macoupin County no longer under that watch. That severe thunderstorm watch, though, does include still areas south of Interstate 72. I have a suspicion Jacksonville, Springfield, Taylorville, and Decatur, that watch may be trimmed back here shortly for you. It's just a severe thunderstorm watch. I really don't expect many more problems up here. The main area of concern is down by Fayette County for us here in central Illinois, with eventually downstream Effingham, perhaps Jasper, Crawford, and Clark County downstream from that. We'll monitor that closely here as far as it goes. One last check of radar will be about 30 seconds from sending you back to your CBS programming. If you want to and haven't done it yet, we'll be going wall-to-wall on our digital platforms. That's our WCIA3 weather app, our WCIA3 news app. You can also join us on Facebook Live and on our Twitter through Periscope there. And, of course, we're streaming on YouTube right now to all ways you can connect with the Central Illinois' most accurate weather team here as far as it goes. There's our programming back. We're going to set it back to that here and go back to our digital platforms. I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey. If we need to cut back here for Effingham County, we will. In the meantime, join us on our digital platforms. All right, we are all clear from the television, so we're going to go ahead and talk about this particular storm a little more in depth. A lot of folks checking on in here and keeping an eye on things on those Facebook comments. Thanks for letting us know. This is not a concern for Champaign, Decatur, Springfield. This is Interstate 70, where this tornado warning is well to the south, but still in some of our viewing area. So we're going to be here for Fayette County, some viewers on our digital platforms, and we're watching for friends in Effingham, points to the south and to the east, Teutopolis, Dietrich, and eventually down towards Newton and that general direction. Of course, in coverage today, we've had Chief Meteorologist Kevin Leidy in the field. We've got myself here in the studio. Meteorologist Jack Griffin has also been out in the field. He was watching that cell going towards the Chrisman area. Didn't have anything substantial to report, but there is still some storms moving through the rest of the area. So folks down here, we're going to come back to you, but I want to talk about the rest of central Illinois, as I'm sure there's some folks asking, what about my neighborhood? And rightfully so. First off, this right here is the cell exiting far southeastern Vermilion, northeastern Edgar County near Chrisman, heading into Vermilion County, Indiana. There's been some gusty winds with that. We've had some reports of 40 to 50 mile-an-hour winds from the National Weather Service. That's below severe limits. It's why we don't have any alerts out for that area. Still the watch in place. That doesn't continue into our West Indiana counties, though. We've been watching it and keeping an eye on it. We've had some folks report some pea-sized hail with this particular cell. Looking into the Champaign area off to the north, Gibson City, Bloomington, Pontiac, Watsika. There's some showers and even a few thunderstorms on the board for us. I'll take a look at some of that lightning on there and see what we're looking at. Mostly, what we anticipate is that these storms are not going to be severe. Not worried. Anyone north of Interstate 72. Really, it's just that narrow corridor along Interstate 70 that we'll watch here. So Decatur, Springfield, Champaign, you're good. You can go to sleep tonight. Don't have to worry about a thing. We're here mainly to watch this one little cell exit. Not a concern. It's out of Edgar and Vermilion County by the point we've been chatting here, past Ridge Farm and Crispin on 150 there south of Danville. Still some lightning, some gusty winds, and some small hail, though, to some of our friends in western Indiana with that particular cell. We jump back here towards Springfield. There's been a few rumbles of thunder, some isolated thunder showers from Springfield to the east towards Niantic, Illiopolis, and Mount Pulaski. Those will continue to push on through, not worried about them at all. And then we see there's a bit of a storm here that's coming in through Shelby County. Folks in Shelby County still checking in and watching here. A lot of lightning. In fact, Shelbyville down to the south, Cowden, Herrick, Highway 51 south of Pana towards Ramsey into Fayette County. A lot of lightning with this storm here as it's moving off to the east. Probably going to be some small hail and some gusty winds there. We do not have an alert for that particular storm, though. So probably we would call it a strong storm, not a severe storm. That's a technicality as far as things go here for what we're expecting in Shelby County. If there is a warning, we're here and we'll stay here for you, Shelby County, as long as we've also got to deal with those warnings off to the south. Then there's this complex of storms. In fact, if I zoom out a little bit, you can see this line of storms right here that's built just along Interstate 70 to the south and west. That takes you down towards Monroe County, down near where Chester is, and Waterloo. You cut to the north here, it looks like it's going to be somewhere close to Carlisle and then up into the southwest corner of Fayette County. That is that line of storms where we mentioned we might have the chance for something to spin together. And that very much has been the case based on reports coming out of Madison and Bond County where some wind damage and even some possible injuries have been reported. We'll let our CBS affiliate in St. Louis handle that if there's any more reports and let you know tonight on WCIA 3 News at 9 and 10 if that's the case. But for the most part, that tornado warning that is east of St. Louis, we've got a couple of them down there actually. Let me just switch my graphics here to get a better look at radar. There's been a pair of them, and we can see here, this is what we're looking at now called velocity. At this point, the radar located in the northwest side of St. Louis isn't getting as great of a view at it. It's a bit higher up, but it still gives us enough of a view where we can tell what's going on. When we look at velocity, what's happening is radar normally, when you look at it, this base reflectivity mode, this is your standard radar here. We're looking at objects in the air, what size they are. The bigger they are, the more dense they are, the heavier the colors are on our scale here. So a lot of heavy rain, perhaps some hail mixing in there. Velocity looks at things just a little different for us. When we've got velocity imagery, we're looking at how those particles are moving. Are they moving towards or away from the radar? And right now, a lot of these red colors are indicating they're moving away from the radar, rightfully so, as they're moving to the east, away from the St. Louis area as far as it goes. And there's been a couple areas here. We've got this one area that has had some spin here to the south and west of Vandalia near the Patoka community. That should cross somewhere close to US 51 south of Vandalia if it continues. But you see these bright reds and even pinks in there from Vandalia down to Carlisle. Those are an indication also there will be some damaging winds with this particular storm as it moves on in. So that very well, even if the tornado threat wanes as it moves closer to Effingham County, very well will bring a strong wind threat for us too. And we don't really have the best view of this particular storm. It is a good enough view to understand what's happening here. That other storm to the south, that area of rotation, looks like it's south of Carlisle. In fact, Carlisle Lake sits here. There's Carlisle. You can drop down to the south to get down to Nashville. It's right in there, and that one will be heading towards Centralia, and some of our friends down in the southern Illinois and St. Louis TV markets will be helping folks down there. We're mainly watching that northern storm to see how it pans out, and I'll take another look, a different look at it here. Let me turn off my, we're going to look at a slightly different variation to see if anything picks up. This makes it more relative to the storm's motion, which also gives us another view here. And you can see how there's this red here surging out towards Kaskaskia, US 51 south of Vandalia. Sometimes what happens is on the back edge here, the north side, we may very well get a circulation south of Mulberry Grove. That is what we've been watching here. But that surging winds to the south shows that storm still putting out some strong winds in that area. So we've got to watch that, and we will watch it for the next while here across central Illinois as far as it goes. I want to back this up. And when I talk about the couplet, what we're looking is those reds and greens to touch. They come close here, but there's nothing that really stands out. Earlier when that warning was issued, initially out towards the Highland and Lebanon area, this is what that couplet looked like here. You can see those tight reds and greens north of Lebanon towards St. Jacob and Highland. In that area, there's been some reports of power lines, trees down, even some vehicles blown off the road. And so that's one that we'll watch for anything that shapes up like that. The problem is the further away we get, I'll zoom in a little more on that so you can see it on the screen. The further away we get, the higher the image we get on the radar is. Radar scans at the Earth, but it doesn't scan horizontal to the Earth's surface. Earth is curved, and so the radar shoots ended up slightly above. So we're about 4,000 or 5,000 feet away at now. We may not get this type of couplet with the situation that we've got, but there's enough still in place where we've got to monitor some of that rotation south and west of Kaskaskia, south of Mulberry Grove, towards Pope, and as it moves off to the north and east. There's a fair chance at this point, with the direction it's heading, it may take a little more of an eastward rather than a northeastward track. And if that happens, that keeps it south of Effingham. That's probably a best case scenario. If it goes far enough south, then we don't have to worry about Effingham County as we move downstream from this. But there's a lot of time still to watch crossing Fayette County here before it heads towards Effingham County in central Illinois. And then that southern circulation, not worried about it as it moves off to the east towards Centralia. It really goes along Highway 50. If you've ever been on Highway 50, that eventually takes you to Olney. You cross into Vincennes and into Indiana. Interestingly enough here, there's been a pair of these storms that have slid on through and what we've been watching, and that's it for the night here. Again, lots of folks probably watching in Champaign-Urbana, Decatur, Springfield saying, well, what about me? At this point, the areas on I-72, we're clear for the night. I don't expect any more problems for Danville, Champaign, Decatur, and Springfield. I don't expect any problems for Bloomington. Really, I think at this point, Shelbyville, we've got that one storm we're watching. But more than likely, I think the front has surged ahead of it. And so that's something that we'll continue to watch here as far as it goes with the storm moving in that general eastward direction. There's going to be some rain. There's going to be some wind. There'll be some small hail, some lightning and thunder. But there's nothing that quantifies or qualifies it to be a severe thunderstorm. We'll watch it. We've got you in our eyes. Shelby County, eventually downstream towards Cumberland, Coles County, Mattoon, Charleston, Greenup, Toledo, Neoga, those areas, Lakeland College. We'll watch it. I'm not concerned about it. It's on our radar. We're watching things as far as it's moving forth here in the region. Really, the only storm of the day left is the storm we've got down by the Vandalia area, which on its track you can kind of see here. If we keep it going, areas south of 70 in Effingham County would be next in line. I'd like to suggest at this point, if it keeps going, it may stay out of Effingham County, or if not, at least stay south of Effingham. More rural areas, which would be better, but we don't want a tornado anywhere, and we don't want to have to deal with this anywhere as far as things go. This primarily a concern, though, for Fayette County right now, areas south of Vandalia, south of Interstate 70 as far as things go. It is 8:04 right now. And what I want to do is take another look at the comments. Some folks are checking on in as far as it goes. There are probably some folks here. I saw someone checking in from Clark County out ahead of it. We got Clark, Jasper, and Crawford counties. No storms there. They're on the way, though. Even if these storms make it in and no longer are considered severe by the National Weather Service definition, which is 58-mile-an-hour winds, large hail over a quarter, or a tornado. That would make it severe. We still think you're going to get some thunder and lightning, some gusty winds, and some hail. That's coming here in the next few hours. We'll continue to watch it. We'll go up to Gibson City and Paxton and Watseka, and let me turn the lightning back on here. And some of that lightning starting to show on in here as far as it goes, some big rumbles of thunder. I expect that. The atmosphere is still conducive for some of these big thunder boomers as far as it goes. And we're seeing some of those in Ford County. I saw a few chats slip on in as far as it goes. Some more also down to the south and east. Looks like Mount Pulaski area down south of Lincoln. You get towards, here's where Sherman is. Here's Mount Pulaski. Highway 54 takes you up towards Clinton. And some more rumbles of thunder out there. Gusty winds likely. Winds behind the cold front really are going to pick up because of what we're dealing with the strong northwest winds bringing cooler air. So it will sound maybe a little scary in some of these areas, but do know, again, for areas that are not along Interstate 70, I'm not really worried. We'll watch for you, but there's not a whole lot of threat for us. This primarily is a threat for parts of the central Illinois area, including the Fayette County and whatnot. All right, to end the back, if we can, we're going to jump back on the television for a few minutes. We just got a new severe thunderstorm warning for Shelby, Coles, and Cumberland counties. So if you can let Troy know, and if we're in commercials, I don't know if this is ours or not, but we'll just get an appropriate time. We're going to keep me full screen. and do it for 2 or 3 minutes, do a television update with this new severe thunderstorm warning and that tornado warning update, and then we'll send it right back to programming and continue here on our digital platform. So either on the floor here or in my ear, let me know when we're getting close and when we're ready. We'll keep talking and following things, but we're going to watch things closely. Those of you on digital now, Shelby, Cumberland, and Coles County, we've got winds of 60 mile an hour. The hail threat, less than a quarter. Seems like a gusty wind threat. The National Weather Service did put out with this particular severe thunderstorm warning, a tornado is possible. They put a tornado possible tag. Doesn't mean a tornado is imminent or likely, but it means there's enough spin in place where maybe something is able to get going. And if that's the case, they're going to put that tag on it for us here. We don't think you'll need to shelter, but we want you on guard, and that's why we're going to cut back in here. Neoga, Sigel, south of Mattoon, Charleston, the Lakeland exit off to the east. Then you cut into southern Coles County, south of Charleston, where this particular storm is heading for parts of central Illinois. So that's what we're watching here. Of course, that tornado warning in Fayette County, still watching as well. We'll be here on digital throughout the night. If you hear a beep sound, first off, that's my NWS chat. It lets me know when there's updates coming on in. And that beep sound usually means there's something coming across, an update to a warning or an advisory or things of that. I saw a quick question peek on in there as far as it goes. So we've now got an active severe thunderstorm warning for Shelby, Cumberland, and Coles County. If you know anyone that's out in Neoga, Toledo, areas near Mattoon, Charleston, to the south there, I know the lake, south and west of town, Mattoon, that's heading there. Really Mattoon proper in, Charleston even in, Sarah Bush Memorial Hospital, it's to the south of there. We'll watch. It's going to come through some of these neighborhoods, Pleasant Grove, Campbell, Hutton, over towards the east, Greenup, Toledo. And really next in line for this one is going to be Neoga and Sigel as far as it goes. We're still waiting to hear about going on television. I'm going to check in with I just need someone to let me know to stop, and we're going to run the open. Okay. I'm WCIA 3 meteorologist in the WCIA 3 Weather Center. We've got a new warning we want to bring to you here for a severe thunderstorm warning, and that's going to be for southeastern Shelby, southern Coles, and parts of Cumberland County here. We're still watching that tornado warning down in Fayette County. More on that in a minute. In the meantime, I want to talk more about this particular warning here. This warning is a severe thunderstorm warning with winds of 60 miles an hour, perhaps some nickel-sized hail. The National Weather Service, though, did put what we call a tornado possible tag on it. Doesn't mean a tornado is imminent, but it means they're monitoring for a little rotation into parts of that area. That storm right now is south and east of Shelbyville. I'm going to go ahead and turn off some of my data, and we're going to talk about who's in and who's out for this warning and where it's heading. First off, this particular storm is located between Strasburg and Stewardson, and if there's any circulation that's trying to organize near, it'd be near Stewardson, moving off to the north and more east if anything. Downstream, Sigel, Neoga, the Mattoon Lake area, Lake Mattoon that is, Lakeland College is in that warning. You can take Highway 45 south through those areas. Then we move further, Pleasant Grove, even Charleston to the south of town, Timothy and Greenup. Those are some other areas that we'll be watching downstream from this. A tornado not likely at this point with it. But that tag means we're monitoring, and we'll be here watching it very closely as well for folks that are in that area. If you have got folks who are at Charleston or Mattoon and Neoga towards Greenup and points to the east, then maybe send them a text because some gusty winds likely with this, and with that severe thunderstorm warning. Of course, you got that alert first on the WCIA 3 weather app. Let's jump back to our tornado warning for southern Fayette County. We've been watching this one closely here. Quite an impressive storm now, located just south and east of Mulberry Grove. There's an area of spin on the back side here, and that's moving to the east with a little northward component. It's getting ready to cross Highway 51 south of Vandalia near Kaskaskia. Fairly rural area down there, but there's still some folks in that region. And on that general eastward track, we'll have to watch and see how close it comes to parts of Effingham County. That'd be the next one downstream for us here as far as things go. Effingham County, there is no warning for you now. If one is issued, we'll be on our digital platforms. We'll send you an alert on the app, and we'll watch things for you as far as it goes. We watch this storm still, though, as it's in southeastern Shelby County from Stewartson and Strasburg. There's Highway 32. You take that south, and you can cut into the northwest side of Effingham, where all those restaurants and whatnot are. This storm will continue to move to the east. Next in line, Neoga is being the center for a severe thunderstorm warning. But that tag is something that we'll watch here as far as it goes. Before we wrap up here, I'm going to pull the severe alerts out and talk about the entire area, what we're looking at. You'll see these counties that are in pink here. Those are severe thunderstorm watches. I've mentioned before, I really think Decatur, Taylorville, and Springfield and Jacksonville were done for the night. Probably even Montgomery County. We'll have to watch those still along the Interstate 70 corridor as far as it goes. This watch goes for another 45 minutes or so. Wraps up at 9 o'clock in the region. And once it does, then we really won't have to worry much more. But we'll be keeping a close eye specifically on these 2 severe thunderstorm warnings and the 1 tornado warning moving off to the east. That's what we'll watch. If there's an update to that tornado warning and if it's issued for Effingham County, we'll be coming back to programming here on TV with the latest update. In the meantime, though, we'll go ahead and send it back to our regularly scheduled programming. You can join us on our digital platforms, the WCIA 3 news and weather apps, and as well on Facebook Live with more information in these areas. For many of us, though, the night will be quiet with some rain showers. We'll have a full forecast update coming for you at 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock on WCIA 3 News. Now back to your regularly scheduled program. All right, great. We're back. We are on our digital platforms, and what we're looking at here is we kind of go a little basic on these warnings. One issue that we're having a problem with here is our radar in Lincoln is down. They're doing a service upgrade to extend the life of that radar, and that's a great radar. We're really spoiled by that here in central Illinois. But because it's down, we've got to look at some radars a little farther away. So I'm not going to show a whole lot of velocity on this particular warning on TV for that 3-4 minutes. But we're going to get a little more in-depth in what's going on here as far as it is in central Illinois. Again, this storm now that's coming into Neoga, we'll watch it. There's going to be a lot of lightning, a lot of wind, and whatnot. You can see here these greens and reds. We're 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 feet up. There's an indication of some spin there. Red going away, green going towards the radar. And we're looking at the Evansville radar now. So that circulation, if it's there, is going to be east of Stewart's and east of Strasburg. Still just a severe thunderstorm warning for this particular one, though. Neoga, Sigel, Interstate 57, that is, from Neoga up towards the Lakeland College exit, will be one that we have to watch, and we'll keep an eye on it. No update on if there's a tornado warning, but if they do update to that, we will go ahead and cut back into TV. So that's something we'll be watching closely here as far as things go. Downstream, that warning, you kind of see the radar where we're looking at here. It's way down here. So it's a long distance from that. If we had Lincoln, that distance from Lincoln to Shelbyville, a lot closer. So we're getting a higher up view of that storm. So it's hard to get a great look at reflectivity and velocity at this point. We get enough where we know what's going on, but to be as specific and say, it's at this county road and it's at that county road, that's not something we're really comfortable with. We're kind of using a bit more of a broad brush with those particular alerts as far as it goes. Did just get an update. Sangamon, Morgan, Scott counties in Illinois, the severe thunderstorm watch is over. We talked about that. Really, I think at this point, it's safe to say Taylorville and Decatur, you're good for the night too. This is mainly this leading edge of storms that's here in central Illinois along Interstate 57 that we'll continue to watch. We're going to jump to that velocity again and kind of get another look here at what's going on. You can see what's happening here is this is back to the Evansville radar. Is the storms are trying to spin a little bit here about 5-6 miles south of Vandalia near Kaskaskia. And as that pushes to the east, there's going to be a lot of strong winds southern Fayette County that may make its way into parts of Effingham, Crawford, Jasper County if it keeps going. There's a little instability here. We told you on the news last night, this morning, we said, hey, if there's a tornado chance, it's going to be down by Interstate 70. That very much has been the case for us here in central Illinois. In the back, I don't know if we can pull up some of the weather metrics cameras and take a peek at those full screen and get a view in the area. We can just go down the line, weather metrics 1, 2, and 3, if that's something we're able to do. It's not going to be in the MAX program. I think you have a button somewhere that you're able to pull those cameras like it's the end of the show. And you may only be able to pull that in 4 with the Neal Street camera and then one of those cameras. We can pull those up and take a peek soon. Let me know if you're able to get that. And you can give me, Jalen, a thumbs up, thumbs down. If we're not, I can run over and try and do a little finagling as far as it goes. So that's what we'll look for and see if we can't get a view of some of those cameras. We've got those two areas that are a little suspicious. One now coming in towards Neoga, another one down here. In fact, we just went tornado warning, so we're going to go back on TV for wall-to-wall coverage here as quick as we can. Then give me a countdown when we're ready to go. New tornado warning. This includes Neoga. The time now to take shelter. Just letting production on the back. You'll have to tell me when to stop so we can go on TV. So just give me that signal. So we're going now. I'm WCIA 3 meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We now have a tornado warning for some of our WCIA 3 viewing area. This is going to be for southeastern Shelby, Cumberland, and southern Coles County, a storm we just talked to you moments ago about. What we'll do now is, because we have an active tornado warning, is we will stay in coverage with this particular warning until the warning expires and the threat is no more. So in the back, if we make sure we've got the prompter running and taking care of that business, we're planning to stay on extended coverage here now for our friends in parts of southeastern Shelby, Coles, and Cumberland County. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Chief Meteorologist Kevin Leidy is out and about, and he's been watching things from the field for us. We also have Jack Gerfen, meteorologist Jack Gerfen, watching things behind the scenes, and we'll be running the ship here from the weather pod for the near term. What we've got is this particular tornado warning now. It does not include Mattoon directly. It is south of Mattoon and just south of Charleston. Mainly right now, if that area of rotation is anywhere, I think it'd be near Sigil and Neoga as far as it goes with this particular storm. So we're going to switch and take a look at our storm relative velocity and get a view on where that rotation is. And we'll kind of edit things here and clean it up. This particular storm is really darn close to Neoga. In fact, the Neoga exit, there's a couple of old gas stations there. Then you drop down to Sigil. I know there's a couple grain elevators on 57. Driven that many times here. This area of rotation is very close to both of those communities. In fact, Neoga, the time now is to shelter because of this possible tornado with the storm moving on in. Let's talk about who's in and who's out, and then we'll tell you what we want you to do as far as it goes here. Something else real quick in the back, if we can make sure news is aware of this and just kind of monitoring things, that'd be helpful. Whether, Jalen, that's you, and just checks in with Jen, and we'll make sure that everyone's on the alert for this particular thing here at WCIA for our team coverage. If we're watching now in downtown Mattoon, areas to the north, areas to the west, you are not included. In fact, Sarah Bush Hospital, not included. Charleston, not included in this. The sirens may very well be going off in Mattoon and Charleston and a lot of Coles County, even towards Ashmore, up towards Cooks Mills, and to the north here. Really, it's from the Mattoon, Charleston south that I'm more concerned about with this particular warning. As far as Cumberland County goes, we are watching this for a lot of our friends there. Almost all of the county in this here. It'll include Greenup. It'll include areas north of Woodbury, some of these rural areas. Maple Point, Cottonwood, and the Interstate 70 corridor here from Woodbury up towards Casey as far as it goes. This particular area of rotation, something that we're watching here very closely as it's near Neoga right now. Let's talk about what we'd like you to do and what the risk is for tornado safety. First off, where should you shelter? If you're in a tornado warning and you're in that polygon, we want you to respect that. These are the places you'll want to go. If you're in a car or in a mobile home, That's not the place to be. In fact, that's the worst place to be, even under a highway overpass. If you're driving, watching on the app, maybe listening to a radio station for coverage now, the best thing to do is pull over at the nearest exit, the nearest convenience store, restaurant, gas station. A great safe place to go if you're in your vehicle. If you're in a mobile home, not a safe place to be either. Your best bet is, if you're right in the Neoga area in a mobile home, is to take shelter in a ditch, get down low and try and get to a sturdier shelter downstream from that. Then you've got a little time here to do that. Great place to be, interior room or basement of a well-built building. Sturdy house, sturdy structure, those are the places you'd like to be in these types of events. The well-built structure, a home, a gas station, a convenience store. A lot of places here in central Illinois are blessed to have basements. That's a great spot to be. Some folks are lucky enough to have a tornado shelter or a designated safe room, whether you're at a commercial business, big box store. Head to those locations as well. Some of those big box stores, the best place to be is in those restrooms at the back of the store or near the front of the store, where you've got more reinforcement there. So we'd like you to get to in, down, and up if you're in this tornado warning. And that would be for interior building. Inside, we'd like you to cover up with blankets, pillows, a mattress. Grab some pillows. If you've got a bicycle helmet, put a helmet on for you and the kids, just to be extra safe from this. And then get down as low as you can. A basement's a great place to be. Get down into a bathtub. Places like that are the best options for us here at this point in that warning. We will jump back to our tornado warning and kind of mention some tips here. If you're in that tornado warning, this is what we'd like you to do. Proceed to a safe place immediately. That's going to be for Coles, Cumberland, and southeastern Shelby County as far as it goes. And just checking the updates, it looks like we've dropped Shelby County. Shelby County, we can give you all clear. We'll jump back to the map in a second. Leave your mobile home, get out of a car, go to a safer place. Rest exit, convenience store, gas station, restaurant, places like that. In, down, up. Get inside, interior room, away from windows, a hall, a closet, a bathroom. Down as low as you can to the ground. Below ground is best. And up. Cover up with blankets, pillows, mattress, a bicycle helmet, protects your head. A great thing to have in these types of situations. We want you to stay there to all clear. We'll give you that all clear. Of course, you can watch WCIA 3 coverage online, on our app, on our digital platforms. We're on Facebook Live right now and watching things closely as far as it goes here, as these warnings are continuing to push on through. If you don't have a basement, I saw a question through the comments. You can still be fine if you're in an interior room. Just the best place is as low as you can. Most of the time when we have tornadoes, I came from the south before I came back to central Illinois. A lot of times in the south, those problems happen when people just didn't do anything. If you do something, you're going to be okay. We'll get through this here. These little late March severe weather events for parts of central Illinois. All right, let's jump back into these storms and talk about where they are. And we haven't gotten any reports of damage or anything like that in our area. Some of these storms, they'll cause some headaches and problems down towards the St. Louis metro area. And I'll talk more about that as we check storm reports in a bit. In the meantime, this tornado warning now is solidly a Cumberland and far southern Coles County. If you're watching us in Shelby County, from Sigel, Stewardson, Strasburg, you're in the clear. Did we just say Kevin? All right, so we've got Kevin. All right, so Kevin is live in the storm tracker. If we bring him up in the preview, Kevin, we'll toss to you here in just about 30 seconds. I want to get one last look at this radar, then we'll find out where he is. This storm is moving off to the east. Mattoon, Charleston, Coles County Airport, the Sarah Bush Medical Center. This is south of you. You don't need to do anything in those areas. If you live to the south, though, Greenup, Neoga, even down towards the Bradbury, Maple Point, and Hutton areas, those are where we have this current tornado warning at. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Leidy is in the storm tracker watching things right now. And Kevin, you've been out through the day with storms earlier. Now you are moving off to the next storm and trying to see if we've got Kevin there. Maybe we bring him full screen. All right, so Kevin is there now.
Yeah,
Kevin?
I'll just kind of, chime in here with that tornado warning that we've got there. I've been tracking these storms all
as far as it goes here, Champaign, Decatur, Springfield, Bloomington Normal, Taylorville, even Sullivan. Really at this point, I think areas north and west of Shelbyville, Montgomery County, all clear. In fact, you can go to bed tonight early if you wanted to. In the meantime, we'll be here watching things and keeping an eye on it for pretty much areas along the Interstate 70 corridor. That's all I'm expecting at this point here, to see more strong storms pop on in. Not worried about Interstate 72 or 74, even 55 corridor. It's all clear. If you live near those, you'll be fine for the night. Not expecting any problems from those areas as well. So we're going to focus primarily on our tornado warnings and where that is. At this point, if we're not calling your town, we don't expect any problems as far as it goes. We'll talk about you if you're in trouble, I guess would be the way to describe that here. And we're focused primarily at this point still on Coles and Cumberland counties with this particular tornado warning, with some hail likely and even some gusty winds with that area of circulation. Let's get a little more in depth here and talk about some velocity, and then we're going to bring some of our sky cams up for Matt Toon and Charleston. You'll notice here at this point, and I'll drop those boxes so we can get even closer into it. The warning itself is primarily, looks like to me, going to be a northern Cumberland County issue as far as it goes. We zoom really closely. There's the Toledo community. There's Greenup. You go north on 130 up towards Charleston. It's off to the north and west of Toledo, not by much. In fact, I want to say at this point, because of our situation with our radars in central Illinois, pretty much anyone, Toledo, Greenup, Illinois 121, Illinois 130 in Cumberland County will need you to shelter and watch this go on by. And a fairly good circulation here. What we're looking at with velocity is we're able to look at radar, and what you normally see is the greens, the yellows, and the reds. That's looking at the size or the density of precipitation that's there. This is where we're looking at how they're moving. And we're using the Evansville radar in particular for this one here. Red means going away from the radar. Green means going towards. We've got movement here going away and here going towards. And I'll draw that even a little bit on the map to give you a better visual. And that's where our circulation is at this point in parts of central and north central Cumberland County, real close to Toledo. Cottonwood, looks like it's just past Neal. I want to say Neoga and Interstate 57. We can give you an all clear for those areas. This is east of 57 where we're watching as far as things go now. Woodbury, Walla Walla, it's north of you. Greenup, Toledo, we want you to shelter. Anyone on Illinois 130 from Greenup north and Illinois 121 in Cumberland County, go ahead and stay in your shelter as we watch this circulation continue to move off to the east. I do want to mention now, we'll go down to our Fayette County storm, and good update for that. Folks in Effingham County, probably watching pretty closely here, we have gone ahead and dropped the tornado warning for Fayette County. Still, though, there's going to be some strong winds and the chance for a tornado still there. We're using what's called a tornado possible tag for parts of Fayette County. When we see that tag in place, what that means is that the National Weather Service identifies some weak rotation, but they don't expect it, and neither do we, to cause imminent problems. If it does, we go with the tornado warning. But at this point for Fayette County, south and east of Vandalia, really it's along the Interstate 57 corridor from Kinmandy up towards the Farina, Mason, Effingham. Going to be some strong winds coming your way. Wind gusts to 50 to 60 miles an hour on the table with that particular storm. And still we'll watch. As I look at some of the velocity couplets here, you don't see nearly as much as it did earlier per se. But we'll watch it closely here and keep an eye for our friends in Effingham County. Yes, you're getting some thunder and lightning and some wind here, but if there's a circulation, I think it would be in this area here, kind of southwest of Effingham on Interstate 57 by about 10 to 15 miles. So Effingham, I'm not worried about you right now as far as tornado potential. Still some gusty winds, and lightning and heavy rain will be coming on in here shortly as we see. Really our main concern is for Cumberland County, far southern Coles County. Downstream, Clark County is next. We want to mention that as a possibility here and kind of give a first heads up to some of our friends there. If you're watching us in Clark County, we know our friends at the Terre Haute TV station watch, but a lot of folks there in Clark County want to watch an Illinois station because they're in Illinois. We'll be here through it if that tornado warning is extended for Casey, Caseyville, Marshall, and some of the other towns in place. That'd be along Interstate 70 up towards Terre Haute. Martinsville, Marshall, some of those smaller towns here where I would expect this, if it's extended in the next 20 to 30 minutes, we'll be heading down the Interstate 70 corridor into Clark County. No warning yet, but it's your first heads up. If you live in a mobile home or you're in a place that's not the best tornado shelter, you may have a little heads up time here that this could head in your general direction, eventually from Martinsville, Casey, and Marshall, as far as it goes here in the region. We'll jump back to this tornado warning. That is Casey, sorry. That is, that's where we're watching now. In fact, that area of circulation, as I look here, there's your inflow notch. Your circulation more than likely is popping up there. And I just want to check and make sure my radar is staying up to date with things on here. So I'm going to check some data on the side, and we're looking good on there. Pretty much over Toledo at this point with the update. So I'm going to switch to our St. Louis radar and just get a different view on this so we can kind of evaluate what we're looking at as far as it goes. So there it is. There's that tornado warning still, which is the reason we're here with you for Coles, far southern Coles County, and Cumberland County primarily. If you're watching us in Effingham, Mattoon, Charleston, all clear. You go back to your business. Not worried about tornado potential for you. Primarily now, it's running out of time in Toledo and in Greenup. And places like that as the circulation sitting pretty much over the top of Toledo now. Let me loop this and see. I may have my radar. I may have to change it to a different one here just to understand what's going on. It's darn close. In fact, it's 8:34 right now. One of our issues here tonight, there we go, the update, we'll watch for that. One of our issues tonight, the National Weather Service in Lincoln, their radar is down. It's of no fault. All it is there's a service upgrade coming in. Normally that Lincoln radar is in place, and that spoils us to death as meteorologists. When that radar is in place, we're able to get a much better view of things as far as it goes. What happens is since we're so far away, the radar really isn't giving us the best view with what's going on. We're looking 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 feet above the ground. There's a lot of real estate in place. It's only down. They're doing some service upgrades for that area, and that's good. That'll extend the life of that radar for another 10 years or so as far as it goes. So I'm going to switch those radars over, and I want to just check and make sure we're looking right as far as it goes. And pretty much right now, I think it's pretty much Toledo and whatnot. That's where we're expecting the issue. Here we go, getting a little update for that radar. So we want you to be in shelter now if you're in Toledo, Greenup, Illinois 130 in Cumberland County, north of 70, and on 40 as far as it goes. If we're watching in Charleston and Mattoon, the storm is to your south. We want to go ahead and pull up our camera network. And if we can bring that full screen in Charleston, we're looking at some of these storms that are out there. And I want to bring that full screen for us so we can kind of peek at what's going on. There's our Mattoon camera taking a peek out on one of the there. Seeing some rainfall, some folks out and about. The warning does not include Mattoon. The storm itself is primarily past the area. When we look at that, those weather cameras give us a great view. We can give that full screen if we can again, that one camera, Mattoon. We'll keep that full screen for a little bit here. When we're looking at those cameras, they give us a great vantage point of what's going on with that particular area. Problem is, it's dark out, and these storms are more than likely rain-wrapped as far as it is. So we're just having a tough time seeing exactly where that rotation is, but we know that there's some there, and I'm eyeballing it pretty close to Toledo, south of Lerna. Lerna, you're on the edge there. If you live south of Lerna, you're in that polygon, but it looks like it's pretty much over the Toledo area as far as it goes. All right, we've got Chief Meteorologist Kevin Leidy out in the field. We want to send it to him. He's on the road watching these storms. Kevin, you're in the field and keeping an eye on things for us here. Tell us more of where you are and what you're seeing.
Yeah, so I've been, just tracking these storms on the way back. I'm a little too far north to be on that Cumberland County storm, but I wanted to jump in. I know you're trying to assess some things there, and I wanted to just kind of chime in here. The best radar that we're going to be able to use to be able to see that is the Evansville radar. The Evansville radar has a pretty good view of that. So if we want to try to fire up the Evansville radar, that's going to be the best one for us, the KVWX radar, because like you've been mentioning, that Lincoln radar is down. There is still definitely that rotation there with that storm. It is now just kind of between Toledo and Greenup. Between Toledo and Greenup is where we're kind of seeing some of that rotation. And you know, what we could do is, Jacob, also we could probably pull up our GR level 2 radar if we need to take a look at that Evansville radar and see that rotation that is there. But again, if you are kind of down the line there, you know, the rotation on this is basically in southern portions there of Cumberland County. Just hugging that Coles County line, but as you have been mentioning there in Charleston, Mattoon, you guys are not in the threat area for this. This is down near Toledo and Greenup. I did notice I was just kind of scrolling through some of our comments from some of our viewers that are on our Facebook Live feeds, and we had somebody that's between Neoga and Toledo and said that they were getting some really heavy winds and rain as that storm came through. If you've got any reports of damage in your area, definitely let us know. Send us an email. You can send it to weather@WCIA.com, news@WCIA.com, or on our Facebook or Twitter, and let us know if you've had anything, because this signal was pretty good down there near Neoga about 15 minutes ago, and now that storm is continuing to move off, and there's still, as I'm kind of viewing the radar here from the storm tracker, boy, just north of Greenup, there is a very temperature that is still showing up just north of Greenup. So that is an area still of concern. I think we still definitely have some rotation within this. And so you're going to be south of the Hutton area, and eventually really interested to see if the Weather Service pulls the trigger on the Clark County. That's the next county down the line and to the east. If they pull that trigger on for them, because I'm still seeing some pretty decent rotation associated with this just north of the Greenup area. So again, Jacob, you start to see that there on the radar a little bit. You see that, see some of that rotation there's looking pretty good.
Yeah, we are watching it. Got some updates here and had to restart the systems a little bit for us as far as it goes. Again, here's that area circulation we were watching here from that Evansville radar. It was kind of slowing down on our systems. I wanted to make sure everything was running smooth behind the scenes so we can get a good eye on where that is. Here's Toledo. Here's Illinois 121, Illinois 130, Interstate 70. You've got US 40 that runs parallel to that here. That area of rotation now pretty darn close to Toledo. In fact, it may be just to the north and east, but given our situation, we're looking a little high in there. I still want Toledo to be in shelter. I want Greenup, Timothy, areas on Illinois 130 between Greenup and into far southern Coles County, and the Interstate 70 corridor. We'll watch that here towards the Casey area before all is said and done. Not there yet. We're watching it, but that's a fairly good, robust signal that there is some rotation in this particular storm as far as it goes centered in Cumberland County. That's why we're here. We're not here for really much else as far as it goes, but I do want to take some time real quick and mention first off, with that storm still spinning, we've got some other storms that are still bringing some heavy rain and wind into the area here. A pretty stout line from Effingham down towards the parts of areas south and east of 57 near Centralia and Mount Vernon area. That line may very well clip parts of Jasper, Crawford County. Our main focus, though, will still be that tornado warning, but Effingham getting some gusty winds, some lightning, maybe a little hail right now. We don't have a tornado warning for Effingham. That's good news. We'd love to keep it that way. We've got that one tornado warning that I suspect will probably, the way things look, be extended into Clark County here momentarily. Right back into that storm as far as it goes, the latest update now. If you live anywhere near, if you live anywhere in Coles County now, Coles County, all clear. Had a few folks in the south side of the county that were in that warning. No longer. They've dropped the warning. It is strictly a Cumberland County warning at this point, as we've shaved off some of the real estate around that warning. And I'll pull that up here and take a peek at it a little closer for you where we're watching. If there's that area of circulation, it's going to be due north and northwest of Greenup, right in here where we've got. There's your inflow notch. You've got your rain wrapping around, and that circulation will be hidden somewhere in this particular area with the tornado possible as it moves off to the east. I have not gotten any reports from this storm of damage in the area, and I'm trying to peruse those comments a little bit and see. A lot of wind and hail, very strong in Toledo. I bet that is. Toledo's sitting right here. It's almost out of Toledo. In fact, if you're west of Toledo, we can give you all clear. Toledo, give me another minute or two. 121 into Greenup. We're watching Greenup, Timothy, Maple Point, and Vivet Park. I suppose that's how you say that here. A little neighborhood that's on Interstate 70 off towards Casey in Cumberland County. So we're going to stay here until this warning either expires or is canceled, or no warnings are issued in addition to that. But our streaming coverage is also continuing. Remember, if you're watching us in this tornado warning, you can join us on our app. You can't watch the TV from your safe spot. Join us on the app, Facebook Live. We're there. We've got you covered with the information as far as it goes. Still, though, that severe thunderstorm warning does continue for Effingham County, with straight line winds, the main threat, and that's where I think the threat lies for the rest of the night for us here with this particular event. Let's talk a little bit more real quick about what we would like you to do as far as if you're in a tornado warning. These are some of those safe tips we're giving you. We want you to proceed to a safe place. You respect the polygon. If you're in that warning, you go to shelter. No ifs, ands, or buts about it here. Mobile homes, not a safe place. In fact, well ago in Greenup and Toledo, you should have left your mobile home already. If you're there, if you're in a car driving, not a great place to be. Quick spot to go. Convenience store, gas station, local restaurant that might still be open. It's 8:45 now. Those places are places you can go and they'll let you in and you can shelter until the storm passes. And that'll be something we'll extend downstream for Clark County here if that warning continues. In the meantime, in, down, and up. There's 3 words I like to preach: in, down, and up. If you're a kid watching, real easy. You can memorize this and take that to your teacher at school tomorrow. Get in as low as you can, inside as you can, interior room, a closet, hallway, bathroom. That's the best place to be, away from windows. We want an inside room. Once you get down as low as you can, if you have a basement, great. Lots of folks have basements. Not everyone does. Some people live in apartments. Some people just don't have it the way the water table works. You get a low into a bathtub, an interior bathroom as low to the ground as you can, and we'll get through this all right together, and then cover up. Blankets, pillow, pull a mattress off of bed, make a mattress fort, pillow fort for the kids, have a little fun from your safe place as far as things go. Even a bicycle helmet. I'll tell you what, being in Mississippi and Alabama and dealing with some pretty bad tornadoes, bicycle helmets during tornado warnings save lives. You get hit by a tornado at your house and you've got a bicycle helmet on, all that's doing is protecting your head. That's the most important part of your body. You keep your brain safe with that bicycle helmet on. Saw it many times before, so throw a bicycle helmet on. At this point, great thing to have here across the region. We want you to stay until all clear. We've been giving those all clears. Coles County, Shelby County, all clear. Areas to the west of Toledo, all clear. In fact, Toledo, I'll give you that all clear here in just a few seconds. But remember, you can watch WCIA 3 weather coverage continuing online on the app, Facebook Live, Twitter. You can watch that from your safe spot. If you don't have that, turn the TV volume up as loud as you can. You can watch that from wherever you need, and TV's in the living room, and hear us. We'll be here through the rest of this event for us. This one warning, that's all we had here as far as it goes. We'll jump back to your radar, and if we keep an eye on Kevin, too, I don't know if we can double box him a little bit. If he's on the road down close to those areas, we'll kind of watch and see what he's doing. A little sliver. That's it. In fact, I want to give an all clear for Toledo, Greenup. We need you in your shelter for another 5 or 10 minutes or so before we give you all the clear. And areas to the north and east of Interstate 70. We want to give you the all clear as well soon, but not right now. It will come with time. This warning goes until 9 o'clock, I believe. So by 9 o'clock, either the warning will be dropped or it'll be out of your area. Probably one or both. Then it becomes a Clark County problem downstream. I don't have a warning for you in Casey, Martinsville, and off towards Marshall. I don't have a warning for Clark County yet. So as far as it goes, right now you don't have to do anything at this point. But if a warning's issued, we want you aware, we want you to jump to your safe place as far as it goes, as this quite impressive storm here moves just to the north of Greenup. And as I check things here, we're focused primarily on this area here with that area of circulation. Even if it's not a tornado, there'll be some strong winds with this particular storm. We've seen some in the chat as far as it goes. So let's Greenup. Give me another couple of minutes. The Illinois 130 corridor, a couple more minutes before we give it an all clear. We're going to give that all clear with an abundance of caution before all is said and done. Let's jump back to our regional view. Lots of folks saying, well, what about my area? If you live in anywhere, Champaign, Danville, Springfield, Taylorville, Decatur, Bloomington Normal, or that might be a place you go nearby to shop at, you're good for the night. In fact, Shelbyville, all good. Sullivan, all good. Tuscola, y'all good there. We're watching primarily downstream for parts of Clark, Cumberland, Jasper, Crawford, still Effingham County, and even still a little slice of maybe Edgar County and Coles County with that severe thunderstorm warning. But just one tornado warning is all we're doing TV coverage on here. Let's go ahead and double box this and watch Kevin's in the field. Kevin's been out all day for us and had some severe weather coverage out there. He's out live now watching things and keeping an update on the road for us, and we'll check in with him in just a little bit. So there we go, Kevin. We appreciate that and you being out there. And so, Kevin, will go ahead and bring me back full screen here. I'm going to bring this tornado warning back as far as all is said and done. We're going to watch it and write it out until it exits the area here. See that ping? There's going to be some pink there, some hail, some wind, and some likely with this, even if you're not impacted by that tornado in the area. Here's the thing we want you to do. Again, if you haven't done it before, I probably sound like a broken record. That WCIA 3 weather app, a great app to have. In fact, you got the tornado warning notification first on that app. And then we jumped on TV. We did our streaming coverage there as far as it goes. So we'll watch that and keep an update as far as it goes. This has been our tornado risk for the day. In fact, that latest update from the Storm Prediction Center, we've had a 1 and a 2 out there, but they actually did bring at the 6 or 7 o'clock update up to a 4 right there for Cumberland, Effingham, Clark counties as far as it goes in Jasper County. And so, you know, they started seeing, and we saw behind the scenes, yeah, that risk started to come on in, but I'm not worried for many other places here in central Illinois. In fact, we'll bring the storm outlook. Springfield, Lincoln, Decatur, Champaign, Watseka, Danville. We're good. We can go about our business for the rest of the night here in central Illinois and keep an eye on things for areas primarily to the south and to the east. All right, just got to notice there's a new warning that just came out for Clark County. In fact, if you've got the app, it'll probably give you an alert as far as it goes. The good news is it is a severe thunderstorm warning for all of Clark County. They did not go with a tornado warning. They did go with the severe thunderstorm warning. And what that means is that they maybe are suggesting the rotation maybe not as strong, but we're still not out of the woods. There still very well could upgrade to a tornado warning. In fact, here that tag says tornado possible still. What that means is that there very well still could be the chance for something to spin up, although the odds at this point a bit lower in Clark County. Still, though, Cumberland County, east of Toledo, including Greenup, the Illinois 130 corridor. Really, that's a pretty nice drive there. Nice two-lane that takes you up into Effingham. Those areas and Interstate 70 past Greenup, we still want you in your shelter here for the next couple of minutes until we can give you an all clear with certainty. I do want to take a look real quick at some of our storm reports from the day. And We'll cut these extra info out just so we can look at them. Some of these reports earlier today, we had some wind damage and hail in parts of Sangamon and Christian County. That was an initial storm about, I would say, 5, 6 o'clock that came on through and exited the area. No longer was a threat beyond that, but there was some damage in that area. And then off to the south here, you'll notice in the St. Louis area, there's been a number of more reports here, which is why they've extended these warnings. Hail, wind, even a couple of reports of some funnel clouds and possible tornado damage over that way out of our area, but that's the reason why we've been keeping things in place here and why we're still on wall-to-wall coverage here for you at 8:52. Again, all day we've been watching things here on digital. I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We've had Chief Meteorologist Kevin Leidy in the field. And the storm tracker, he had some good views for us earlier. We're going to hear the 9 o'clock news, which just for production to know, if we still get an extension of the tornado warning, we will roll with the news and continue on. But if not, we'll have our newscast on WCIA 3. That's on WCIX, and we'll go back to programming and still watch things during the 9 o'clock show. That's what we'll do and keep an eye on as far as it goes here in central Illinois and whatnot. Just a little sliver. That's all we're here for at this point with that one tornado warning in Cumberland County. Casey, you're not in the warning. The county line sits just west of you. And keeping an eye on things. Okay, did just get a report in Toledo of power out and power out in Greenup. That went out a few minutes ago. So that may be a sign that we may have some damage down that way. And we'll watch it and keep an eye on that. So news, if you're aware of that, just kind of pass that information along and keep an eye on that. If you've got anything more on that, folks that are down there, let us know. This is live right now in Cumberland County at 8:53, the power outages in parts of Cumberland County. So we'll watch that closely and keep an eye on things here real quick as far as it goes. So just kind of a heads up for the news folks in the back. If the warning drops, we will go to the 9 o'clock news. You can join us on WCIX. I have a feeling Jen and I, Jen's probably mad at me for running into the show.
No. Weather's important.
Yes, you're right.
Top priority, making sure people stay safe.
You're exactly right about that. And that's why we're here on CBS, on WCIX. But if the warning drops, you'll be able to catch us for the newscast as scheduled on WCIX. So you can jump there and we'll talk more about things, keep the stream going on our social media. Real quick, I'm going to add a report in that I just saw, and I want to pass that along. As far as it goes. So just added that there so the National Weather Service would know. So we'll reach out to folks in Cumberland County, some EMA officials, and get any ideas on if there is perhaps something going on. It could very well be maybe a power outage related to a tornado, but I tell you what, looking at some of those greens and reds there's going to be a lot of strong winds as far as things go here in parts of central Illinois, so we'll watch things and keep an eye. I'm going to switch that storm relative velocity. Different look, give me a little bit different view of it as far as it goes. You can kind of see how those greens and those reds, when we look at that, that's an idea of there may be some sort of signature to the east of Greenup now on Interstate 70 here. What we're looking at in these is, again, normal radar, looks like a bucket of spilled paint. We normally like to have some cameras, and if we can eventually here, maybe take a peek at that. If I can get that camera up shortly on Max 1, we can just look at some of those and kind of set that. So I'll have you take care of that if you don't mind. We've been having we maybe can get a view. Not yet, we'll stay right here with me. As far as it goes, but what we're looking at is these reds and greens, an idea that there's some sort of circulation in the atmosphere. One of the problems with radar is that it's looking above the ground, so we aren't getting ground truth, but hearing that there is some power outages in Toledo and in west side of Toledo over towards Greenup gives me an idea that there's probably going to be some strong winds at the minimum. Maybe there was a tornado that went through there. We're not going to be able to know. Those crews will get out and repair damage and take a look at things as far as it goes. But that gives us at least an indication there's some strong winds in that area. I want to say by this point now, Greenup, we can give you an all clear. Illinois 130, we can give you an all clear there. If you're to the east of Greenup, though, on Interstate 70, between Greenup and Casey, we'd like you to stay in your shelter here. The warning we'll find out here in the next 4 minutes or so what's going to happen with this tornado warning, whether they extend it or whether they let the severe thunderstorm warning ride on out. In the meantime, I'm going to take a regional view here just in case we go back to programming on CBS. Remember, you can join us on WCIA 3 News at 9 o'clock on WCIX. A bit of a tongue twister there. And that primarily will be for our friends that are watching in Clark, Effingham, Crawford, Jasper, and Cumberland counties right now. A lot of these other areas, there's some thunder, there's some lightning, there's some breezy winds, but again, Danville, Champaign, Tuscola, Sullivan, Shelbyville, Decatur, Taylorville, Springfield, we're clear. We're good for the night. There'll be some thunder and lightning still, but we're not worried about those areas here as far as it goes. So we're really focused on a sliver of our area, but we believe that every life is precious. We're going to cover those tornado warnings and keep the digital content going as far as things go here, whatnot. If we want to, we can bring, I don't know if our Nat 2 camera was working. I might be able to pull it up here real fast. Just want to take a peek. Probably seen some of that lightning. There's Charleston. Let's take a peek at Charleston. Ooh, look at that lightning that came on through as far as it goes. So just got to notice for programming purposes, we're going to ride this out until 9 o'clock, and then the tornado warning for Cumberland County will expire at 9 o'clock. So if you want to stay with us, we'll stay live with the 9 o'clock newscast on our digital platforms, and we also then will send our CBS programming back. If there's a new warning that's issued, a new tornado warning, we'll come back into CBS, but you can join us on our digital platforms, the WCIA 3 weather app, the WCIA 3 news app, both of those. Great apps to have here as we watch the rain, lightning, and thunder in Charleston right now, not under a warning, primarily to the south. So that's going to be the game plan as far as it goes here for the next little bit. Again, Cumberland County at 9 o'clock, we'll give you that all clear. We're about a minute and a half away from the news at 9 on WCIX. And so we'll stay here and start the show. So in the back, if you can kind of give me some cues and countdowns, just let me know when we're supposed to start so I have an idea. We will toss. Say that again, I'm sorry. What we'll do is we'll just run when it hits to 9 o'clock, we're going to toss CBS back, and whenever that 9 o'clock show starts, we'll just roll right on into the show. So we'll run that closing and take care of that there like we should be. Okay, so we're about a minute out from that, so it sounds like that. So give me about 45 seconds here. Again, still some severe thunderstorm warnings for eastern Effingham, parts of Cumberland County. That warning is expected to expire here. And now Clark County that we'll watch. Clark County, we're not going anywhere. We'll be on the news and on our digital app watching things for you. But at this point, lots of the rest of central Illinois are out of the woods as far as this goes. We're still here for that tornado warning that will expire at 9 o'clock in Cumberland County. If you haven't yet, I can't say enough great things about this app right here, the WCIA 3 weather app. You got those alerts first on your phone when there was severe thunderstorm watch came out, the severe thunderstorm warning, and then the tornado warnings that we've seen. Hopefully, we're done for the night on that, the tornado warning's concerned, but a great way to stay with the forecast for you as far as it goes. I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We are going to wrap coverage up here on CBS. Be sure and join us on WCIX for the news at 9. Now back to your program.
This is your WCIA 3 forecast first, sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
I'm WCIA 3 meteorologist Jacob Dickey here with Jen Last. We've been watching weather coverage. We're going to let Jen start here and open the show for us, the WCIX 3 News at 9. In the meantime, there's been a couple of alerts in the area as of 9 o'clock. No more tornado warnings. That's good to hear here as far as it goes. We still have that severe thunderstorm warning with parts of Clark County. And then we've got a severe thunderstorm warning for Clay, Effingham, and Jasper County as things go on through. The strong line of storms here will continue to push to the east, so our window of opportunity for severe weather is on its way out. Good news indeed. WCIA 3 News at 9 on WCIX starts right now.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 9 on X49.
Messy Saturday in central Illinois thanks to tornado warnings, rain, heavy wind, and hail. Good evening, I'm Jen Lask. Storms swept through our area first in the late afternoon, leaving damage behind. And then just within the past hour as well, we've been tracking tornado warnings. And with that, I'm going to send it right back over to our meteorologist, Jacob Dickey. Jacob, you have been on air both on WCIA, now on CIX, digital as well. What is the latest?
We are watching storms pass on through the region right now. There are no active tornado warnings. We're still live on our digital platforms, and we'll keep this show going as far as it is. What I want to say is at this point still that there may be a small area of rotation coming into Clark County. The National Weather Service has opted for a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. What that means is that they are looking at an area that may have a little bit of spin, but not imminently likely to produce a tornado. Still, though, there's going to be some gusty winds with this here. We've had power outage reports in Cumberland County within the last 30 minutes near Greenup and Toledo. This storm now, Casey, watching a lot of wind and rain and thunder and lightning as far as things go. We will check in real quick on our velocity to see if there's anything that's in place. And if I had to suspect, if there was any area of rotation, it might be close to Casey at this point. But we also probably are seeing some of those winds start to surge out a little bit in the line. It doesn't look quite as impressive as it did during the tornado warning. So we will watch that closely, that is, through the next half an hour as far as things go. Down the line then, Effingham, all clear. This now looks like it's a issue for, we'll say, southeastern Effingham County and now into parts of Jasper County, which eventually could come towards Newton with some strong gusty winds out there. We've talked a lot about what's happened now. Let's talk a little bit about what happened in recent time here, if we've got the time to do that. We've got some video from Chief Meteorologist Kevin Leidy. He was in Taylorville, and we want to roll that video if we have it. Some of the damage that happened. An earlier storm came through parts of Sangamon and Christian County. This was a tree that was damaged south of Taylorville. If you're familiar with that area, down towards, I think, the golf course and the lake area south of town. And some of the lightning and thunder that came through that storm dropped also some hail. We had some reports of quarter-size hail in parts of the region there. The wind also downed some lines and caused some minor damage to structures and outbuildings, and you see some of that sheet metal at this particular farmstead that had some damage. It's been an active couple of hours for us here in central Illinois. The good news is that storms are on their way out. Before I toss it back to you, though, Jen, I just want to mention a new severe thunderstorm warning did just go out for Jasper and Crawford County. And so we'll watch this, and this is going to be it. Once we get these storms across the river into Indiana, it will no longer be our issue. Jen, we'll have another update and the full forecast coming up in a little bit. I'll go ahead and send it back to you.
All right, Jacob, thank you. And of course, we have the latest info on our news and weather apps. Those are both free for Apple and Android. Now, we are going to move to new information on the family of a fallen state trooper. They've released a statement in the wake of his death. Trooper Todd Hannikin, seen here with his family, died Thursday in a crash on Route 10. His family says in part, quote, "We want the world to know he was a great husband, father, son, and friend. His legacy will be entrusted in all of us to carry forward. It is this: live your life to honor your loved ones, hold them tight, prioritize what matters." We have the rest of the statement on our website, WCIA.com. For the first time in a year and a half, the Springfield Police Department is hiring new officers. They need 29 openings filled. The department wasn't supposed to end their hiring freeze until September, but because of a major spike in shootings in the city recently, the mayor sped up the timetable. Because so many of their resources are devoted to dealing with the shootings and violence in the city, the department has had to stop all of its other responsibilities for the most part that they normally would be tending to.
Like community engagement, that's non-existent right now. We're trying to do some just on that's related to gun violence only. COVID checks, we're pretty much slowed them down to little to none right now.
The hiring freeze was a result of $3.2 million being cut from the budget because of COVID last year. Activists hosted a rally to stop anti-Asian violence. The group gathered at the U of I's alma mater statue, holding up signs encouraging people to unite against racism. Some passed by that rally without stopping today, but organizers are hopeful their message will still be heard.
I hope that they took away that we are talking about substantial matters, and that they see people doing something and not just letting things happen. That there's an actual response to racialized hate crimes, and that we're not just sitting around doing nothing.
Several people gave speeches, some sharing their personal stories, and others are encouraging the community to work together to stop the hate against Asian people. In the wake of 2 mass shootings in this country this month, Illinois lawmakers are taking another look at the state's FOID card system. Senator Ram Villavalam's proposal will expand background checks if passed. That would be on FOID card applications, as well as an increase of monitoring people with FOID cards. He says that would decrease violent crimes involving a gun by 40%.
I would say that the broad coalition of support signifies that this has been a well thought out, based on data legislation. And again, we are trying to make the FOID card system work better.
The entire interview with the senator can be seen on Sunday's episode of Capitol Connection. Lawmakers from both parties are heading to the border in response to a surge in migrants arriving, what Republicans are calling for, and how the president is defending his handling of the issues. And we have Jacob here. You have been on air throughout the evening. What are we tracking right now?
You know, the good news is storms are moving out, but there's still a couple of folks that will be watching here. Behind it, though, there's still been some thunder, some lightning, some rain, and even a few reports of some small hail in spots. Here's a look right now in Charleston at our first Mid-Flooring America iNet camera, and we're seeing some of that rain still come on down. Coming up after this commercial break, we're going to take a look at radar and look at that line of storms pushing on through. We'll also have a much quieter 7-day forecast for you. That comes after this.
Now, Central Illinois' most accurate forecast with meteorologist Jacob Dickey.
What a day it's been for some of us in Central Illinois with some strong to severe storms pushing on through. This is a look right now in Charleston. The rain still coming down. Earlier, areas south of Charleston were under a tornado warning. Let's go ahead and pull our Max 1 up here, and we no longer have any active tornado warnings. This is a look at some of those power outages in the area. Some of those reports are now coming in from Christian County. Still has a number over 1,000 outages there. Some outages in Shelby County, and then as of recent, some outage numbers have come in from Cumberland County. Several hundred people out there in the Greenup and Toledo area, pretty close to where we had that circulation roll on through. We'll get another look here at the camera and take a peek at the radar first off. Let's go look at radar. There we go. Take a look at this. Here's what we're seeing. Lots of Champaign-Urbana, Springfield, Decatur. Lots of us still having rain. The severe threat over. Some good thunderstorms, though, from Danville down towards Paris and to the east of Mattoon, Charleston, and Effingham. We'll look more at this line right here coming into parts of Clark County here. From Casey and Interstate 70 corridor towards Martinsville and Marshall. A lot of wind and rain coming in your direction. There could very well be still the low chance for a tornado with that storm. There's some spin there. But the only thing is we're on a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. Then we slide a little further down the line here, and we're still seeing some strong winds likely south of Casey into parts of southeastern Cumberland County. And then this has my eye just from a distance here, this little feature here. We'll watch. Probably going to be some strong winds for sure, but maybe there could be something going on circulation-wise. Just looking at the shape of that storm as it's to the south and east of Effingham, that would be a Jasper and Clark County issue. So we're here pretty much for Clark, Jasper County, and points to the east. Most of central Illinois done. If you live north of 70 and west of 57, you're in the clear. It's folks along 70 that we're watching here with all of that torrential lightning coming on through. Severe thunderstorm warnings in place. That's all we're dealing with right now with this line as it moves off to the east. All right, we're going to keep moving on and talk a little bit about the forecast. Hadn't had a chance to do that. There's the current temperatures right now. Effingham is down to 58. It's 56 in Champaign, 55 in Jacksonville. The cold front has pushed on through, except for these far southeastern counties south of Interstate 70. Another 15, 30 minutes. That cold front's out of here, and that severe threat's over. We get that line out of here with some damaging winds and some hail threats still on the board for us, but it seems like we've transitioned to a wind event for us here across parts of the region. Something else in tonight, as the storms exit, some lingering showers and clouds will continue. North and west winds are going to pick up 10 to 20 miles an hour with clouds sticking around. I think showers are done by the morning hours tomorrow. Those lows, though, will be a bit of a shock compared to where we were, say, this morning and last night and yesterday even. Down to 39 in Mahomet. Forsyth down to 39 tonight. I've got 41 in Lerner. Greenup at 43. We'll be at 41 in Pawnee. Tomorrow, then, clouds will stick around. The winds will climb. In fact, I'm going to call for winds out of the north and west, 15 to 35 miles an hour. Some gusts may be higher at times. That's bringing a lot more cooler air into the region. Temperatures will struggle to get into the low 50s. Much of the day in the 40s. You factor in those winds, it's going to feel colder than the air temperature. We'll put us at 53 in Gibson City and in Bemet. Farmer City at 50. How about a high of 53 in Chatham and in Mount Zion? Pana at 53. We'll get up to 50 in Chrisman, 53 in Arcola, Willow Hill, and Teutopolis. Get to 53. As far as temperatures go, this cold front coming through the night that's brought us storms resets us very slow, or very quickly, I should say, for temperatures. 50s and really feel like the 40s with that north and west winds. South winds, though, Monday and Tuesday come back. And when the south wind comes in, we get warmer weather. But by Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, an even stronger cold front is on the way. Temperatures are down in the 40s for highs. These are high temperatures. Cold air making a brief return here, a little tease of maybe some winter-like temperatures as far as it goes. And we start to climb back. I think we're in the 60s by the weekend. Here's this first front that's coming on through. Can't wait to kick it to the curb and get it out of here. Some quieter weather does settle in Monday and Tuesday, though the winds will still be a factor this week. By Tuesday night, though, we get the chance for some more showers along this cold front. If things time out right, maybe we get a few flakes mixed in somewhere, but I don't expect any impacts with this next front, and we won't worry about severe weather at this point with it either. I think we're going to see some quieter weather as we end March finally and head into the first part of April. On top of what we've seen already today, you see that second round. This is through the next 7 days. Not a whole lot of rain here. Maybe a quarter of an inch in some spots with that second round coming in, and we'll watch it. Just not a lot of rain to work with as a drier and quieter pattern, thankfully. makes it to the area. Tonight we're down to 40. Storms will end here in the next 30 minutes or so. We'll still have some rumbles and some thunder boomers in the background. We'll see some showers continue into morning. Those winds picking up behind the cold front into the 10 to 20 mile an hour range is what we'll watch. Breezy and cooler on Sunday. Many of us will struggle to get into the low 50s. We'll make it. It won't feel all that great, though, compared to the 70s today. 60s are back on Monday and on Tuesday. We'll watch for some early morning showers Wednesday. And then as we go into Wednesday, Thursday, much colder on the board. Then look, we're warming things up just in time for next week. It looks like we'll be quieter, back into the 60s out there. After today's, I'm going to call it a mess, but it was more of a nuisance, if anything, for many of us in central Illinois. Much quieter weather ahead in the next 7 days. But of course, it's that time of year. Spring is here, and so we'll watch for some of these spring storms as we get closer and closer to April. We'll have a little time off before then.
All right, we could use a little bit of that calm weather.
Yeah, we could. We'll have another update, too, on the radar before we end the show.
Sounds good, Jacob. Thank you so much, and we'll have a look at your national headlines next.
Live from WCIX 49, this is your local news leader, Jen Lask, with meteorologist Jacob Dickey, and Central Illinois' most accurate forecast. You're watching WCIA 3 News at 9 on X49.
A growing number of migrants are crossing into the U.S. Now, the issue is heating up as lawmakers head to the southern border to see the conditions at holding facilities and to assign blame. Those Border Patrol facilities face overcrowding with some 18,000 unaccompanied migrant children in federal custody as of Friday. As CBS correspondent Michael George reports, a scramble is on to set up temporary shelters to house them.
Senator Ted Cruz posted this video from his visit to a holding facility in Donna, Texas.
All of us today witnessed the Biden cages. What is occurring here on the border is heartbreaking, and it is a tragedy.
The Texas Republican led a delegation of GOP senators to the border on Friday. On Saturday, another congressional delegation toured the El Paso border area.
We must change the narrative as quickly as we can. These are not invaders. They're not terrorists. They are individuals that have come to America from the beginning of time.
During the first official news conference of his administration, President Biden this week defended his handling of the issue and said the migrant influx is seasonal.
It happens every single solitary year. There is a significant increase in the number of people coming to the border in the winter months.
San Diego's mayor and area congressional leaders visited the city's convention center Saturday. The Biden administration will use it as a temporary shelter for about 1,450 girls.
These are children. This is the right thing to do, and San Diegans will always do the right thing. Americans will always do the right thing.
And the administration says it plans to issue a new rule aimed at protecting DACA, which shields some undocumented immigrants brought into the U.S. as children from deportation. Michael George, CBS News.
Texas's Republican Attorney General is seeking to have the program declared unlawful and gradually terminated. A U.S. District Court judge scheduled a hearing on the DACA case for Tuesday. We'll be right back.
The news continues here on WCIA 3, your local news leader.
City census data will come later than expected because of COVID-19. Officials anticipated they'd get the totals by March 31st, but the U.S. Census Bureau is pushing that back to September 30th. Cities get money based on the number of people who are counted, and Decatur has noticed a declining population that could affect how much they get.
We have lost approximately 7.1% of our population over a 9-year period of time. And there is concern that we may be at about 70,000 residents in the 2020 census.
Money received helps with things like state income taxes, motor fuel taxes, and helps pay for resources like food stamps, school lunches, and home energy assistance. It's a traditional song Jewish people were hoping to sing together this year. How people are observing Passover this year as they once again say next year in person.
This is WCIA 3 News, your local news leader.
For the second year in a row, Passover Seders are being hosted over Zoom.
May we all be blessed to enjoy future holy occasions in person with family, friends, and loved ones.
That was Sinai Temple's Rabbi Alan Cook in part of the Interfaith Alliance of Champaign County's annual Seder. Passover marks the Israelites' exodus from Egypt, going from slavery to freedom. It's one of the Jewish religion's most sacred holidays. It began at sundown tonight and will last through next Sunday. Meanwhile, kids in Urbana celebrated a different holiday a bit early. People with Anna Chapa State Farm Insurance made 600 Easter baskets for children in the community. The baskets had toys, candy, and school supplies. The Easter Bunny was also there. People who participated say they wanted to give back.
It's important to me to do those type of good neighbor acts and offer those resources to the community. And also it's a way to grow our small business. It's been hard as a small business to market this last year. And so this is a way for us to touch a lot of families' lives and hopefully earn their business as clients.
Easter will be Sunday, April 4th. We'll have a final check of your forecast after this.
We got one new severe thunderstorm warning that just came across. This includes southeastern Edgar and the eastern part of Clark County. It's not including Paris. It's down towards Farrell and to Marshall and Anderson points to the east. These storms are on their way out. Still have the chance for some gusty winds with that. We expect by the 10 o'clock news things will be much quieter in central Illinois. Jen, I think that's what a lot of folks are going to be happy to hear.
I'm hoping for that.
Yeah, it will be. So we'll have a full forecast and a review on some of these storms coming up at 10.
All right, sounds good. Be sure to keep watching us at 10 o'clock and go on our news apps.
We'll be on digital. See you then. My mic on? There we go. Perfect. So we're going to wrap this up in digital real quick. We've got a warning until 10 o'clock, and I'm just going to keep on here. Jen's getting ready for the 10 o'clock show. We can kind of play the beginning. I don't need as much for severe weather at 10, but we can open and run the video, do that same thing, and make it work as far as it goes. So let's talk about this new severe thunderstorm warning. It does not include Paris, but it does include southeastern Edgar County. Folks in Paris probably watching. Highway 1 takes you down towards Marshall. This will be the southeastern part there, Elbridge and towards McKean and whatnot. Just a sliver of the county until 10 o'clock. I suspect that this warning will be dropped before all is said and done. Moving downstream, Casey, Martinsville, you're in the clear. I'd be interested to hear if there's any severe reports from there. I haven't seen any. The only thing I've heard so far is power outages in Toledo and Greenup, and that's good news from this last round of storms. We had some power outages earlier in Christian County, some hail and some wind damage in Christian and Sangamon County from storms around 5 o'clock. This batch of storms has just been a nuisance as far as things go. So we're going to stay on the digital here for a little bit longer until we can get it at least out of here. But for the most part, I'm not overly concerned as of now. Moving downstream, Clark County, Martinsville, Casey, you're good. Marshall. Moving off to the east there, it's leading edge coming in town. Wind and rain will be a big story for you. We're still watching an area of rotation, not likely to produce this tornado immediately, but still have our eyes on it to the south and west of Marshall near Anderson. So we're going to watch that and ride this storm out to the end, and then probably ride it for the next 10 minutes or so. Once we get it past Marshall, to the east of Highway 1, then we'll wrap it up here and pass it off to our Terre Haute family, the next star station over in Terre Haute. They'll take care of it, and they're watching folks right now, of course, as well. In the meantime, though, Martinsville, Casey, we're good. Green, Toledo, storms have been strong there. Storms do continue down, though, into Jasper and Crawford County, and it looks like mainly warned for straight line winds this next batch down the line here. There's going to be some gusts of winds there. In fact, more than likely, we're getting closer to the radar. It doesn't look all that impressive. My thought is that perhaps some of these storms are collapsing and pushing some outflow winds out. So that'd be Oblong and Robinson and places off to the east of there towards the areas north of Vincennes on 150. Of course, you're familiar with 150. That runs, of course, up towards parts of east central Illinois as you cross the river there. So we're mainly watching this now just to make sure Clark County is in the clear. And I think in the next few minutes, I'm going to say we're finished with that here. But we've got some folks that watch there and watching, rightfully so. Nothing wrong with that. We appreciate you, and we'll keep you covered there. That's it, though. Anywhere else in central Illinois is all good for us here as far as it goes. So that's what we got. We still got a number of you on. If you're watching Champaign, Danville, even Paris, I think. Paris is going to have some rumbles of thunder and whatnot as we watch the southeastern part of the county, but we're still just going to watch this thing cross Highway 1, heads into Indiana. It becomes an Indiana problem. It isn't our issue anymore. And boy, we'll be ready for that as far as it goes. Let's talk a little bit about the velocity and see if we can't peek in there. In fact, you can see, if I hide the windshield layer, you can see the winds trying to push out here. Of course, the problem, we're so far away from the radar. We're looking 5,000–6,000 feet up. We're not getting that low-level scan we'd like to get. Better than we would with the Lincoln radar. But at this point here, you know, we're still getting a great idea of what's going on. You see these greens surging out right here on those reds in front. Green going towards, red going away. So here's your circulation right there that we're watching in particular. No tornado warning. More than likely will not produce a tornado. There will be some gusty winds with that as far as it goes and pushes off to the east. So we're going to watch that and ride this for maybe another radar frame or two. We should get one here shortly. But that's south of Marshall. There's still going to be gusty winds in Marshall. If we've got anyone watching there as far as it goes, we'll keep an eye on that. But the concern right now is starting to diminish. Don't want to leave our southeastern Edgar County friends out south and east of Paris. Paris not in the warning. And you can see how far that radar beam is away there. Those pixels start to get wider and wider. You start to see some purple in there. Just hard to really get a good grasp in there. But I think they're on the money for issuing that new severe thunderstorm warning for eastern Clark County and far southeastern Edgar County, just until we can get that initial edge of the line out of here. And once that happens, I'll be much less concerned, and we'll be done for the night. I think a lot of folks here at the station will be ready for that as far as it goes. Hats off to the folks behind the scenes that have been working on things and keeping us up to date. Been a long, stressful day for us, but we are getting this coverage going and continuing on our digital platforms here. I think we're going to roll out and have 3 or 4 hours of continuous coverage on our digital platforms. So that's exciting to hear. So here's the updates for that warning. The Clark and Edgar County warning goes for 60-mile-an-hour winds and dime-sized hail. The threat, a tornado possible, is still there. That's that tornado possible tag. It's issued when there's not necessarily a tornado likely, but there's a little bit of spin that they're watching. And that spin just right down Highway 1 south of Marshall. And we'll move off to the east into Indiana here, maybe in the next radar frame, moving east at 50 miles an hour. So you put that at highway speeds, and you've got 5–10 mile stretch. That's out of here in 5 to 10 minutes. And it looks like that next frame just kind of popped on in there. But you kind of get the idea if you look at it. And you can see the frame. I'll drop those boxes to get a better view. that little S signature there, if we're looking at radar, that's something where it catches my eye. I look for things that catch my eye, and that does for maybe just a little bit of spin. But more than likely, crossing Highway 1 right now, south of Marshall, you got the Snyder community, Ernst, and down to the rivers. A lot of folks like to live down there in the river, Darwin, north of Vincennes. Gusty winds coming that way into parts of Clark County. So we'll be watching it here and just keeping an eye on it. I'm going to give another radar frame update or two before all is said and done. And that's what we'll do here and keep an eye on it. Clark County technically is, I think, owned, as far as the television market wars go, it's technically a Terre Haute TV market. But folks in Clark County, they still get us to WCIA. They still follow WCIA news because a lot of that Illinois news at the Capitol impacts them more, and Terre Haute will focus more on Indiana and that stuff. That's no problem. It's nobody's fault. It's just the way that the markets are divided. So we're going to ride this storm, I think, another frame, and by 9:45 in the back, I think we'll be done. Be able to get some food in us and take care of things. But we're going to watch that and keep you updated here. Just watch that frame. That little area just has me suspicious given what we've seen today. Some of those winds still trying to surge out here, crossing Highway 1 right now, south of Marshall. And near Darwin, Walnut Prairie area, the Ernst area, south of 1. Really pretty area as far as it goes down there. All right, just checking some data real quick. I don't have any new updates in the National Weather Service. That's good. I think they're ready for stuff to be out of here. But a lot of that wind, even if you've got a circulation aloft, you don't have to have a tornado from it. In fact, lots of supercells rotate aloft, but they don't produce tornadoes. What they will do, though, is they'll get some gusty winds and some hail, and that probably gusty wind threat more than anything, given that signature, is what I'm suspicious of here. Not terribly concerned, though, as it gets out of here, another radar frame or two, you put it at 50 miles an hour, that's going to be at the river. Not our problem in central Illinois anymore. Just some housekeeping notes. 10 o'clock news is on time tonight if you're still watching. I know Jen Lask has a lot of great stories she wants to air. We've blown her out of the water with the weather coverage. She's working on things now. And we'll have that. Marley Weirda has sports coverage, and of course we'll have the forecast update where we can call it all clear during the 10 o'clock news for everyone, even though about 95% of us, probably more than that, are in the clear now. This is primarily Clark, Crawford, and Jasper County that we're here. And really, we look at it, I think it's just Crawford County left. Jasper County probably looking all clear. Maybe north of Olney there. You get the Preston and the county line. West Liberty area could get some gusty winds with that second batch down there, but it seems like we're riding this one out here for just a little bit longer before all is said and done from that Evansville radar. We'll be keeping up to date on that. I'm just going to look real quick at some other reports out there and make sure things are good and whatnot. Sometimes when you're in the driver's seat here, it's hard to check some of the other sources of data that you have, and I'm going to take a moment and do that and keep an update on it. And lots of messages and notifications and things of that, just kind of spotting through real quick. Not seeing anything there. That looks good. Let's see if there's any viewer messages. I'm going to send a... radar frame should be coming in. It's every 5 or 6 minutes we get a scan from Evansville there. So we're right in that moment. And I just want to write it one more to make sure. We're just kind of riding this one out. The chief just walked in. There we go, that latest update put it across the river. So I think we're going to wrap this coverage up here on our Facebook Live and digital platforms. Of course, we've had Chief Meteorologist Kevin Leidy in the field throughout the day. Almost. There he is. Kevin, you had a good time out there?
Yes.
This is what Kevin did.
We were out there chasing those storms all day. It was you know.
Good views. You had really impressive shots.
Yeah, good views out there. Fortunately, there's not been a lot of damage. Christian County seems to have the most damage. We're going to have to keep an eye on that Cumberland County stuff because it looks like that's where we've got some of the most power outages there.
Yeah, we've got a number there. So we're reaching out to folks in Greenup and Toledo area and checking in with some of our sources. And so Kevin's been covering in the field for us there. All right, thanks, everyone. We're going to wrap this up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for trusting WCIA 3 News with your coverage. From Kevin, Jack, Amelia, and myself, thanks for watching. We will see you at 10 o'clock news.